Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got Hannah with me, my student who's had a few hours, about 10 hours lessons. We're doing a forward bay park today, and we're just basically introducing it to her and looking at the main points. Just a short quick video on this. You haven't done anything like this before, bay parking. We've done a bit of reversing, so you know how the car works when it's slow with a clutch controller and biting point. Okay, so we've parked opposite these bays. What we're going to do is we're going to drive forward right turn into a bay, and the main point is your clutch control is okay, but when you're doing the turn, basically sometimes people lift the clutch too much and the car gets quick. So we're going to be doing, let me see where he may go further actually. Okay, if you start the engine, that's a nice car, isn't it? Okay, start the engine. So what I always tell people, the main point is to park well away from the right way. You know, on this side, it's two-way car park. Okay, that's the main thing. And if you look at the bay to the right, can you see? Never go for the immediate bay. Okay, the next bay. And then I'm always picking the reference. The line should be about half of your door. So where your chrome handle is, can you put your point to the chrome handle? Roughly about there, or just before that. That is roughly your turning point. I like to go with that, but it may differ the reference for different people. Yeah. The main thing is to keep the car slow as possible, and that's going to be with the clutch biting point up and down. Okay. So if you've selected first gear. If you start to edge forward for me, and I want you to signal for this, so mirror signal. Just making sure, and tell me when you think it's there, then I want you to stop. Okay, tiny bit more, that's it. Okay, so that's the point of turn. So if you full lock it now and drive forward into that, so yeah, keep the speed slow. So how are you going to do that? By dipping the clutch. Dip as in pressing the clutch down, keep the turn slightly here, and now straighten the wheel up. Now hold there for a minute, keep it straight. The other thing is you can't judge where you are with it right now, but you can see that we're not in the bay looking at these other vehicles. If you look below the mirror as well, you can see the footpath coming towards you. If you edge forward, the curb should just come just under that door mirror. So if you just edge forward slowly, when it gets under the door mirror, give me a shout. Can you see that? Almost there? There it is. There it is there. That's your stopping point, okay? And if you're neutral there now. Okay, relax there for a minute, let go of everything. And can you see how that went? It's not a difficult exercise to do. It's quite straightforward. Okay, main thing is your mirrors, your signal, your biting point, clutch control, looking at what type of car park it is. Usually a supermarket car park, these kind of car parks, if you were on a test for example, they would come to the far side of the car park, and they would pick the emptiest places. So they normally picked 4 empty bays for you to park into. They won't make you actually park next to a vehicle. I mean, I know there's a van park there, there's a space away, So forward right bay is quite a popular one. They could also ask you to do it forward left bay. So I'll give you one of them as well. We'll have a look at that. The main routine of it all, the walking pace, keeping the car slow, is all the biting point, the clutch. Any maneuver you're doing is based on keeping the car slow. So if you look carefully, you know, when we did the pull up on the right, for example, we reversed back, it was all, the clutch was just on biting point, and you're lifting and dipping the clutch to keep the car slow. When sometimes people are turning in, they forget, when they're dealing with the steering wheel, they let go of the clutch, like we were when we were early learning process. You're just dipping the clutch so it acts as a brake. Because if you're on the brake, the car doesn't really move. So how could you make the car move slowly? It'd have to be inched up and down, How do you feel about that bay parking?
It was alright.
It's okay, Now, if you check it, it should be perfectly in the box. Can you see that? Okay. So the main tips that I would give all the pupils who are learning this is that don't come in and rush into it. Stop opposite a bay that you want to drive into. Give yourself plenty of time. Use whatever reference point your instructors have taught you, or whatever you feel is comfortable that you understand with. I mean, I personally chose that with the door handle and lining it up with the marking, and then take your time as you drive into it. Slow is the key, and keeping the car slow would be using the clutch control, you know, using the bike. and dipping the clutch, depending on the gradient of the car park, if it's uphill, downhill, or it has a hollow bit in it, for example. Yeah. And then if you are using the reference point correctly and you're turning into it, there's less work. Obviously you can correct it by reversing back out, but you've got to have good observation all around. And if this is another thing that people do wrong, is when they're reversing back, they're just looking in the mirror, or they're not looking around. For example, if that car backed up there and this van was passing him, and if he was only looking in his mirror, he would only see him when he gets there. He wouldn't actually see him coming. So that would be a full all-round observation out of the bigger windows. And in more super car markets, you know, you've got trolleys, people walking, etc, etc, so you wouldn't see them all in the middle. So a good central look. Okay, let's reverse out of here. And then the other main point of this is, if there's no cars parked next to you, whichever way you're reversing, you can full lock it. But if there's a vehicle parked next to you, you would have to back up a little bit more. So that's another point you've got to remember if you ever get into that situation. No doubt you will once you've passed. Okay, full lock it to me, and then do a central check all around. And then as you reverse back out of here, I want you to keep up with the looks, but keep the car as slow as possible by dipping the clutch. Okay, so have a look around, keep checking, and keep moving back until we're out of the bay, and keep going back nice and easy. Okay, I want you to stop there, go straighten the wheel up. Okay, and select neutral. Okay, now we're not going to drive off, we're going to do a forward left bay now. So I'm going to show you what the difference is. As far as they're concerned, it's the same exercise, but they can choose it from the left and the right depending on which car park you're in on a driving test. So we're going to pick one of these. The same principle is going to apply. We'd want the line to be roughly about there before we make the lock for the left turn. Again, if you're close to them, it's harder to make the turn, so you could be a little bit out. So we're going to inch forward a little bit to the right. We're not going to get too close to that vehicle. We're going to try and do a baby for it. Okay, so don't move off quick, just move out a little bit for me. I'll tell you when to stop. If you dip the clutch down for me, and we're going to start looking here which one that we should go for. So for example, if we're going for this one, we're letting the line come to about here. It's almost there, can you see it? Yeah, and if you full left lock that, you can signal left as well, and just keep the car as slow as possible. And you see how it's coming in, although we could have done with being a little bit more out, but sometimes you can't be too much on the wrong side as well. So that's going in. Keep the lock on until it fully straightens up, and looking ahead now, straighten the wheel up. Good. And then again, use the mirror reference there, and just reaching forward, and we're going to stop there, neutral. And then always, if you want to check it, make sure it's in neutral. Have a look, see if it's in. Excellent. Okay, so in this particular car, and for you and the way I teach it, that reference works quite well, doesn't it? So that's all you've got to do. And for that, you mustn't rush into a car park. Slow down, take your time, line the car up to that reference point. It's always going to go in nice and correctly, and you're not going to have to fix it. However, if you ever do, if it's on the line or anything, just make sure you keep up with the observations when you're backing up, and then you can come back forward into it again. Okay, so you know, you didn't do too bad with it, so it's like, you know, we've introduced it to you. We're going to keep up the practice. I'll probably ask you to do it on a prompt or independent level as we're going to see if you can manage it. Okay, so that was a quick short video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, hit the like and subscribe and comment in the box below, and thanks for watching. Until the next time.